And I think it's Bob Marley said that in this great future, we cannot forget our past.
Public history is a process of rehumanizing.
It is for us to pre-consciousness for the people against things that happened.
I'd like to invite Miriam Dalal. Miriam is an Arab writer and artistic researcher. She holds a PhD in arts and science. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Njuki Githethwa. Dr. Njuki Githethwa is a Kenyan writer and activist scholar. His field of specialization is on the revolution and social movements in Africa. Lastly, I'd like to invite Brian Muraya, who is a poet and researcher based in Nairobi. In their work, they gesture towards a further opening of the ear, such that what is unforeseen may be heard to be groaning. Now, this panel gets its name from a piece by Stuart Hall, Constituting an Archive, and I'd like to read an excerpt before we go into the first round of questions for my panelists. No archive arises out of thin air. Each archive has a prehistory in the sense of prior conditions for existence. We need to pay particular tribute to all those who have been involved over the years, often in very informal, personally taxing and underfunded ways. And we can actually start from there, the idea of a living archive.
The history in this country is seen like a dead subject. The past is not dead. It is not even past. And there is nothing that is as powerful as for us to make sure that people are remembered and they're extolled. Now, to me, an archive is a site of memory.
As I'm learning more about public history, as I'm learning more about what histories do we hide, what histories do we make accessible and visible, I think archive is becoming more and more what we, the people, want to remember, what we, the people, are actively working on to make visible and to give a space and a place for in this time and age.
Archive, immediately when I think about it, is a yes, or maybe an affirmation. And together with this yes, it's what is sometimes rigorously, sometimes romantically organized around this yes in relationship to what one calls people, what one calls we, what one calls history. But I think before all of that, it feels very much like a yes, and then all that comes from that yes.
Younger people are not engaged entirely in the past and how that affects their present and future. My major question is, or rather concern, and something I'd like to understand the process of from the perspective of archivists and researchers, is how do we make it a concern for the people?
How we can make it a concern for everyone is possibly language and translations. Something my uni professor told me is all your ideas, make sure you can translate them from whether it's a PhD lecturer to the mama mboga on the street or the guy who sells you Mahindi Choma.
So one, make it equal. So the partnership between you and the community, make it equal, make it beneficial to both parties. 3, make it rehumanizing. And this is what's very important for people on a personal level.
Societies and people have questions, and they want to interrogate that. It is not our business to be able to give solutions. It is for us to pre-consciousness for the people against things that happened. And I think once we have this kind of conversations and what Africa Digital Heritage is doing, it is a time for us to be able to remember the memories, not to dwell in the past, but to see how those memories will be able to shape the past, the present, and the future.
So with that, thank you so much, panelists, Miriam, Brian, Njuki.